The sands of Egypt shimmered under a relentless sun. A lone figure, Moses, stood before the might of Pharaoh. His message was simple: let my people go. Pharaoh's laughter echoed through the grand hall, a sound of cruel amusement. He, the ruler of all Egypt, answerable to a God he did not know, unthinkable. Moses, with a staff that spoke of miracles to come, warned of plagues, of divine wrath. Pharaoh scoffed. Let the God of the Israelites prove his might. Moses, his heart heavy, knew what must follow. Egypt would learn of God's power, but the lesson would be written in suffering. The first plague, a gruesome transformation, would be a sign. The Nile, lifeblood of Egypt, would turn to blood. Dawn broke over the Nile, painting the sky in hues of hope and renewal. Hope soon curdled into horror. The great river, reflecting the rising sun, ran not with water but with blood. The stench of death, heavy and cloying, filled the air. Fish, once plentiful, floated lifeless on the surface. Their scales, once shimmering silver, were stained a macabre crimson. The Egyptians recoiled from the river, their faces pale with fear. This was no mere trick, no conjurer's illusion. This was the hand of a power beyond their comprehension. Pharaoh, however, remained unmoved. His heart, hardened by pride, clung to defiance. He attributed the plague to sorcery, to the work of Moses' God. The plagues, he believed, would pass. The blood receded, leaving behind the stench of decay and the taste of fear. The respite, however, was short-lived. From the Nile, now flowing clear but carrying the memory of its transformation, a new horror emerged. Frogs, countless and teeming, swarmed over the land. They poured from the river, a living tide of green and brown. They invaded homes, their croaking a deafening chorus. No place was safe from the relentless amphibians. They filled beds, contaminated food, and fouled temples. Even Pharaoh, secluded in his palace, could not escape the infestation. Their slimy bodies, pulsating with life, seemed a mockery of Egypt's plight. The stench of their presence, a fetid reminder of the plague's reach, permeated every corner of the land. Section 4. The Plague of Vermin. The frogs at last succumbed to the divine command. Their bodies, rotting in the sun, added a new layer of horror to the landscape, but the God of Israel, it seemed, was not yet finished. From the dust, from the very air itself, arose a torment unseen but keenly felt. Lice, tiny and relentless, descended upon the land. They burrowed into hair, into clothes, into the very pores of their victims. Itching, maddening, and incessant plagued man and beast alike. Pharaoh, scratching at his own skin, felt a flicker of doubt. Could this be the work of a god? His advisors, covered in welts from the relentless biting, pleaded with him to relent. But Pharaoh, his heart hardening with each plague, clung to his pride. Section 5. Death from the skies. The lice, a torment that tested the limits of endurance, eventually subsided, yet the respite brought little comfort. For the Egyptians knew with a dreadful certainty that the God of Israel had more in store. This time the plague arrived on unseen wings, a buzzing, swarming terror from the skies. Some say it was flies, their numbers so vast that they blotted out the sun. Others speak of wild beasts driven mad by some unseen force, descending upon the land, their fangs bared, their hunger insatiable. Chaos reigned, livestock perished, torn apart by unseen predators or driven to madness by the relentless buzzing. Crops, already suffering from the previous plagues, were trampled underfoot. The air, thick with the sounds of buzzing and the stench of decay, became a tangible manifestation of fear.